Welcome into the Murphy Center on a late Friday night where we are set for this TSSAA Class 3A semifinal round matchup between the Upperman Bees and the Fulton Falcons. I'm Noah McKay on the call here on the Frontier Chevy UCR Media Network, joined once again by my friend Jacob Benson. The lovely Madison McKay will be producing things for us soon. Tonight's broadcast is presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate, and it is a very late night. This game is scheduled to tip off at 8:45, but we had an overtime game earlier in the 2A classification featuring Alcoa. That pushed everything back. This game going to tip off at about 9:13 or so here in the Murphy Center, so we hope you've had your caffeine. We certainly have. Let us know in the comment section who you are, where you're listening from, and where you're watching from, or where you're listening from, and who you're cheering for in this one, as I imagine it's going to be a very partisan crowd in favor of the Bees. Upperman looking to punch their ticket to the state championship game for the first time in school history. They want to join their Putnam County friends, the Cookeville Cavaliers, who did that earlier on tonight with a big victory over Bartlett. Similar to that game, this game has a favorite on paper, but as we've already learned today, basketball games are not played on paper. We welcome you into the Couch Team with Highlands Lake Real Estate pregame show and Jacob Benson. This appears like it may be the potential state championship game. These two teams have really emerged throughout this entire season as the pinnacle of the class. The winner gets Ridgeway tomorrow, who looked good to get a victory against Creekwood, but all eyes on Fulton against Upperman for the right to play against that Ridgeway team.
It's very reminiscent of the 1A girls state tournament a week ago when Pickett County and Wayne County played in the semifinals, and we said it before that game even got started that this really feels like this is the championship game. Whoever wins this game is going to go to the championship and win the championship, and that's exactly what happened. Pickett County went on to win the championship, and it feels like it could be the same thing. Now, Ridgeway, they're going to have a little bit of say in that championship game. That is a very athletic Ridgeway team out of Memphis. They have cruised through their first two games here in this state tournament. But, yeah, this Upperman and Fulton teams, they have been the top two teams in the state pretty much all season long in the 3A classification and have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Of course, Fulton, they've been kings of 3A for a very long time now. Of course, winners a year ago in 2023 and absolutely breezed through the postseason and into the state tournament as well. Been a little bit closer here in this postseason, but they're still in this semifinal spot, and they've been here quite a bit in the last few years.
Yeah, the Falcons, the reigning Class 3A state champions, and they have a very impressive record. 33 victories to 2 losses on the season under head coach Jody Wright. This is their 13th semifinal appearance in school history, and a very impressive 10-2 record in that time. But they did get a test yesterday. Fayette Ware was ready to go. They end up pulling away late 56-49. Fulton has won 15 games in a row. They've made the semifinals 9 times in the last 17 years. And, of course, they have Mr. Basketball. We'll talk about him, Tyler Lee, named Class 3A Mr. Basketball earlier on this week. But their opponent, the Upperman Bees, they are 30-4 on the season, playing in their third ever semifinal in school history. They were here 3 years ago when they fell against eventual champion Greenville. A good game, 47-41, played Greenville closer than anyone else did in that tournament. The other semifinal game was back in 1997 when they played against Perry County. But the Bees, they are red hot. They've won 19 games in a row, and they rolled in their first round matchup against Cume Fogg, 61-41. Ty Cobb with 17 points paced the way for Upperman, and they looked pretty similar to that they've looked this entire postseason. If you recall, ever since they've got the chemistry working with the football guys and the strictly basketball players, they have not lost a basketball game. And once again, it was Ty Cobb, it was Bronsden Chaffin shouldering a heavy load. You had Braden Roberts hitting threes. You had the depth pieces of Turnbow and Torrance making threes as well. That's the formula for Upperman. They're looking for that again tonight.
Lost that first game in district play to Stone Memorial on the road and haven't lost since then. Of course, it took a couple of buzzer beaters against Stone Memorial after that, but sometimes you need a little bit of luck. You need a few bounces to go your way if you're going to make it to a state championship game, even if you're going to make it here to the semifinals. And this is going to be a really good matchup because you look at the other side in Fulton, they're one of the most athletic teams in the state. They've got speed all over the place, and they've got 3 guys who have scored over 1,500 points in their careers, over 500 rebounds, and it's just a couple of insane numbers on the other side there for Fulton. But you said it too for Upperman. They are so balanced, and they're so deep as well. You go to the bench, you'd go 9-10 deep, and there's really no drop-off in production. We've been saying it all year long, but there really isn't any, and you see that with the Cavaliers as well. You see Jaron Davis, you see Joseph Owens come in. Joseph Owens, the game winner today. Jaron Davis, 18 points in their quarterfinal win a couple of days ago. The Bees kind of have that same mentality. They bring in about 4 or 5 5 guys off the bench that they can just point and place wherever they want. And they bring in Jack Torrance, who can knock down threes from outside. They bring in Branson Turnbow, who is a great defensive presence, and he can also knock it down from outside. Cam Bush will come off the bench. They've got so many guys that they can go to on that bench that bring in so much production, whether it's inside, defensively, or even in the offensive game. And then you pair that with, of course, their stars, Bronston Chaffin and Ty Cobb, and then Braden Roberts outside shooting the basketball. They're so balanced offensively and defensively, it's hard to go up against them. They run a 2-3 zone that it slows you down. They get their hands out there. They get into passing lanes, and we saw it against Hume Fogg just yesterday. Starting out the game, forcing 4 turnovers early on and getting out to that big lead and kind of setting the tone for the rest of the game.
Upperman, as we compare the schedules here, has played 13 teams with a winning record, and accounting for 19 of their 34 games. Of course, many of those in district games. 4 of those teams made the state tournament: Creekwood, Brentwood, Laverne, and Hume Fogg, of course. And they've only lost 4 games this year. They do not have a bad loss. Brentwood, who was in the 4A state tournament. Siegel flamed out towards the end, but a very good 4A basketball team. Homewood out of Alabama. That loss looked better and better as the season went on. It was a very physical basketball game. It was a hard-fought game against them, 43-36, and Homewood had essentially the equivalent of the state quarterfinals in this state in Alabama in their highest classification. A very good Homewood team. And then, of course, that Stone Memorial game in Crossville where Stone brought their A game and impressed. Upperman, of course, got their revenge. Fulton, on the other hand, they played 18 teams with a winning record, accounting for 21 of their 35 games. 5 of those teams were in the state tournament. Maryville, we saw them a couple of days ago against Cookeville. Morristown East, Alcoa, Austin East, and Fayette, where they've lost only 2 games this year. A head-scratcher against Central Magnet. They were missing some starters in that basketball game. And Austin East, a big rival, 69-67. And they do have Mr. Basketball, Tyler Lee, at 6'5". He's at 1,700 points, 1,000 rebounds in his career, is averaging over 15 points per game. But for this Fulton team, similar to Upperman, they're balanced. 4 Fulton Falcons average double figures each and every night.
Yeah, it's insane. And you look at, you mentioned Tyler Lee at over 1,700 points in his career, over 1,000 rebounds. And then you also have the Kimber brothers, and Taj and Dinaj Kimber, over 1,500 points for each of them, over 500 rebounds for each of them. And then Dinaj Kimber also has over 500 assists in his career so far. So these guys can absolutely fill it up. They will move the basketball as fast as anybody that Upperman has faced this year. And like we said, this may be your championship game. The winner of this one has a very good chance of winning coming up tomorrow at 6:30.
Moments away from tip-off here. Tonight's broadcast presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate. You'll hear more from Sonja throughout the evening. Make sure you call 931-979-7145 or the office at 931-526-9581 for more information. And make sure if you call that office number that's on the right on your screen, you always ask for Sonja Brown. It's time for the Swallows Insurance starting lineups. First for the Fulton Falcons at 33-2 on the season under head coach Jody Wright. They are the reigning Class 3A state champions. Number 4, Dinaj Kimber. Number 10, Nicholas Steen. Number 15, Dexter Lewis. Number 20, Taj Kimber. And number 44, Mr. Basketball, Tyler Lee. Their opponents tonight, the Upperman Bees, under head coach Bobby McWilliams, with a record of 30 victories and 4 losses. They're looking for their first ever state championship game appearance. Number 0, Ty Cobb. Number 4, Evan Huddleston. Number 15, Clayton Harris. Number 21, Braden Roberts. And number 23, Bronston Chaffin. The Fulton Falcons, the road team on the scoreboard. They are to our left here on Media Row in the road. Black jerseys, black shorts, white numbers and letters with Fulton across the chest. No nameplate on the back. The Upperman Bees, the home team on the scoreboard. They are to our right here on Media Row. They're in the home white jerseys, white shorts. Gold numbers on the front and the back with black letters spelling out Upperman across the chest plate. I'm Noah McKay. He's Jacob Vinson. Madison McKay producing things for us. Once again tonight, we had the first game of the semifinal round. Cookeville defeating Bartlett. We had a middle game with Gordonsville falling to Frank Hughes. And we have the nightcap, a late night, as it is already 9:13 p.m. and we haven't tipped things off here at the Murphy Center. But what could be better than this? A trip to the state championship game on the line. 2 behemoths, 2 of the best teams in the state regardless of classification. Superstars everywhere. Tyler Lee, reigning Mr. Basketball. Ty Cobb, dare I say, future Mr. Basketball. He's made his way out during the starting lineup. Great coaches, great fan bases. Upperman, though, with a decided advantage in the fan department here. Fulton, they've got a few. They've got a couple of half the section of the fine student section to our left, about 2 rows, probably 15 kids standing there in the student section. Upperman, they've got 2 full rows filled up. You're talking about maybe 30 kids for the Bees. So not gigantic student sections, but the parents, as per usual, and the fans around the program have made their trip to Murfreesboro here tonight. The winner of this game gets Ridgeway tomorrow night at 6:30 here at the Murphy Center for a gold ball. The loser goes home one step short of the final game of the year. Let us know in the comments who you are, where you're listening from, who you're cheering for in this one. We're presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate. The excitement is in the air. Fulton, they're trying to go back and defend their championship. Upperman trying to show that this ain't a coronation, it's a tournament. A lot on the line tonight is it's going to be Tyler Lee against Bronston Chaffin. And you can go ahead and get ready to see that a lot this evening on both ends of this floor.
That's going to be a really fun battle. Of course, Bronston Chaffin had a great game in his first quarterfinal matchup here in the state tournament just yesterday, just last night, and it's going to be a good battle against the Mr. Basketball tonight.
Lead official walks the ball in, blows the whistle, throws it up. Let's get it on at the Murphy Center. And Bronston Chaffin wins the tip. Upperman possesses in Ty Cobb, the freshman point guard, who all of a sudden, everybody knows his name. Sends right side to Clayton Harris. Harris finds Chaffin at the top of the key. Chaffin fires baseline for Braden Roberts. Roberts goes up, too strong on it. It was disrupted inside that time by Nicholas Steen. And here comes Fulton ahead. Left wing passes Upperman, and there's a travel. Passing lane cut off by Cobb, and Dexter Lewis slid the back foot. Possession quickly back to the Bees.
Yeah, on the other side offensively for the Bees, they got Braden Roberts actually wide open on that left side, and I don't know if he expected to be wide open. Then when he looked at the basket, the defense kind of transferred over and made the shot a little bit tougher.
Cobb bringing it across the timeline here, sets up, gets a Clayton Harris screen, now flips it to him. Right side Huddleston. Evan Huddleston baseline drive into some trouble. Now bounces back out, and that was a double dribble. And just kind of got lost inside there. Evan Huddleston, possession back as both teams have traded turnovers.
Yeah, had nowhere to go with that one. It was a good double team on the right baseline. Huddleston drove in on that right side, and then they kind of came behind him and filtered him back out to the baseline. Had nowhere to go, and really the help really couldn't get there either. It was a good double team.
Full court press here for the Bees, and it worked to perfection against Hume Fogg. This ain't Hume Fogg. Fulton out here now. They break it ahead with no problem. Running the point is Denaj Kimber. Kimber works right side, now back around left, where he finds Dexter Lewis. Lewis is Upperman right into the 2-3 zone. Huddleston and Cobb at the top. Roberts, Harris, and Chaffin underneath. Three ball up, and that one's good. Dexter Lewis, as they move the zone right, then back left. And the three ball falls. It's 3-0 Fulton.
Yeah, and they get in their full court pressure here. This is something they like to do, try to speed teams up and force turnovers.
Roberts shields off the defender. Roberts inside alley-oop for Chaffin. Got swatted out of play by Tyler Lee, but it'll stay with the Bees. We're 81 seconds into the ball game. Upperman, slow starts, pretty common this year. They've been a third quarter team pretty much throughout the year. They may get into a hole. The key will be to not get in too big of a hole against this Fulton Falcons squad. Inbound goes to Chaffin, fires into Cobb. Cobb shot fake, turnaround jumper for Ty Cobb, no good. Straight up and down went Lewis, so no call, and we'll play on. Now quickly ahead, here comes Fulton. Little mid-range runner up, that one's no good. Offensive rebound saved in right to Clayton Harris, and the Bees will push the tempo the other way. Cobb wants it in the corner. Roberts sees him late, fires over. Cobb has it now. He's picked up defensively by Nicholas Steen. Now back over for Braden Roberts. 5-second clock ticking on Roberts as he sends right side for Evan Huddleston. Now Bronston Chaffin with it. Chaffin reverse speed into the corner for the sharpshooter Braden Roberts. The senior Roberts finds the sophomore Chaffin back at the center court logo here at Middle Tennessee State. Cobb getting grabbed off the ball as he usually is. Now kicks back for Evan Huddleston as he hits the deck. Huddleston drives and kicks. Braden Roberts open three. Got it. A Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate three for Braden Roberts.
It was a good job by the official on the near side, too, not falling for Lewis, who was trying to take a charge and almost a turnover.
Now Upperman doing the half-court trap as they work it over right side. Fulton in rhythm for three on the other end. No offensive rebound and an easy putback as Steen got in for two. Upperman's defense got spread out and Fulton capitalized.
Yeah, they never really got set in the half court, and they obviously got it over to the corner, the three, and nobody picked him up driving or going to the basket.
Chaffin going to be fouled as they were trying to trap him in the corner. And we'll see if this one goes on four. I believe it's going to go on Denaj Kimber, but they also had Nicholas Steen in the area code. He does go on Kimber. That's his first, team's first. And quickly, Ranson Turnbow checking in. He's a ball handler. Evan Huddleston going to come out. Huddleston just a little bit sped up here early in this game.
Yeah, and that's what this Fulton team can do to you, especially I mean, these guys are all seniors. They've been here a lot. They won it a year ago. They have been in the Glass House multiple times. We talk so much about the Upperman Lady Bees kind of being the class of 3A.
Yeah.
The Knoxville boys are the class of 3A.
Turnbow crosses the timeline just ahead of the 10-second count. Now floats back. Defender stepping to him. Now cutting in is Roberts. Roberts outlet pass to Cobb. Baseline drive for Ty Cobb. Finds Turnbow. Blocked from behind. Chaffin able to wrestle it. Then it's ripped away from him. Now it's a foot race. Kimber into the front court. Denaj Kimber swiped out of his hands by Branson Turnbow. It'll stay with Fulton, but a good job getting back by the very fast Branson Turnbow.
He had no chance of getting that basketball up there. He had Turnbow racing, then he also had Chaffin trailing right behind, and Chaffin would have been able to block that one away if Turnbow didn't get a hand on it.
Already well over 500 devices tuning in tonight on a late night. Hope you got your caffeine together and ready.
It's Friday night. I got nothing better to do.
Well, there's nothing better than this right here. In the corner, Fulton for three. No, but another offensive rebound. And I'm having deja vu to this morning.
Yep.
Extra pass out three. Nowhere close. And another offensive rebound. Easy put back for Steen. And very similar to Cookeville. Right now, Upperman getting dominated on the boards. And Bobby McWilliams got a call timeout here with 4:42 to go in the first quarter. 7-3 still early on. And Fulton does not have a big size advantage on Upperman the way we saw this morning with Bartlett, but they're getting to the boards.
No, they're very evenly matched, at least height-wise. There's not a big size advantage on either side. Lee and Chaffin kind of match up, and they kind of match up pretty much all the way through the lineup. But right now, they're getting too spread out defensively. They're not getting box outs on that side, and they're not crashing the glass. And that's why this timeout's being taken. They have just given up too many offensive rebounds here in the early going. And you mentioned Cookeville against Bartlett. They got out-rebounded 21-7 overall. They give up 13 offensive rebounds in the first half. And maybe Coach McWilliams kind of seeing that, hey, we don't want to trend in that direction, trying to stop it and nip it in the bud right now with 4:42 to play in the first and already trailing by 4.
Coverage of tonight's game is on the Frontier Chevy UCR Media Network. And remember, don't buy till you see Jason Fye. Rebounding number 7 for Fulton, 0 for Upperman. That won't get it done. They're fortunate to only be down 4. 4 offensive rebounds for the Falcons. Branson Turnbow going to run the point right now as he crosses over. He was the starting point guard all last year. Now flips a pass over everybody's head, and it goes back to the Falcons. Upperman right now, some unforced mistakes on both ends. 4:33 to go in the first as they try to settle in. Fulton very calm, cool, and collected. They're used to this ball game.
This is exactly what Fulton wants to do. They want to speed you up. They're going to throw a lot of pressure at you defensively, and we saw this with Upperman yesterday at the start of the ball game. The ball, what are we waiting on here?
Not sure what the wait is for here.
Oh, the official talking to somebody here on the near side over by press row.
That is a TSSAA official. And I'm not sure what the discussion was, but we're ready to go back to play.
Interesting.
4.5 to go in the first quarter. That's rare when you see that in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
And you do not want to make that man angry if you are an official. Let's put it that way. Right swing pass here goes for Steen. Now they work it back left side. Fulton trying to work this zone. Upperman really spaced out, more than they usually are, trying to defend the 3 ball. Now in the corner, Chaffin with great defense, but an outlet pass down low, easy for Kimber, and a late call coming in. Denaj Kimber going to get an and one. Count the bucket. And Chaffin got stretched all the way into the corner, and it's all Fulton early as they lead by 6. This one going to go on Cam Bush.
Yeah, they're just completely spreading out the defense right now. Really good cut by Kimber from the top of the key all the way to the basket. Nobody saw him. Cam Bush tried to come from behind late, and it was a late whistle because he hit him on the body kind of on the way down. And there was contact on the body. It sent Kimber to the line, and he's going to have one free throw.
First one on the way here to try to complete the 3-point play, and it's good. Denaj Kimber, a 72% free throw shooter, makes it, and it's a 7-point Fulton lead. Again, not unheard of for Upperman to go down early, but this is a different animal. As Cobb drives, throws up the shot, bumped in midair, we play on. Rebound ricochets, and another board for the Falcons. Upperman getting dominated on the glass early in this basketball game.
They don't have a rebound yet.
Yeah, Steen gives back to Kimber. Turnaround jumper in the mid-range up. That one's no good. Chaffin goes way up to get the board. And now Chaffin fires it ahead to Turnbow. Turnbow, reverse feed for Bush. Bush, power dribbles, goes up, blocked out of play. Blocked in play to Fulton. Here they come pushing it in transition. Setting up now back. Bush able to get in the way for Steen. Steen works it around left side. Now they find Kimber. Taj Kimber, now a deep 3 on the way, and it's good. Denaj Kimber from downtown, and Upperman's got to be careful. They're down 10 here, 4.5 minutes in, and they're not playing anywhere near their style of basketball.
No, not really any resistance defensively either. They're getting too spread out. They're not putting a lot of pressure on the ball, and almost a turnover.
Yeah, a bailout call there as Cobb went down, and Denaj Kimber going to pick up his second. So that's a big one, as Upperman's looking for a spark. Jack Torrance to the table alongside Braden Roberts and Evan Huddleston.
Yeah, that's a big foul right there for sending Kimber to the line. And if you can get one of the Kimbers out, great. If you can get 2 of them out, even better. Of course, Tyler Lee, if you can get him out of the ball game, that would help as well. And he saw that with Cookeville early on. They got a couple of those Bartlett players into foul trouble. It slowed the game down just enough for them to kind of get back into it.
Kind of the reverse of yesterday's game as Upperman had a fast start. Fulton with it here as Cobb brings it up, sends back to Torrance. Torrance now works it over to Huddleston. Now Chaffin. Chaffin waits, now gets it for Cobb. He bobbled it and he traveled with it. Possession goes the other way. Another mistake by the Bees. They are all out of sorts right now, 5 minutes into the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting out rebounded 9-1. They've also now got 3 turnovers, which that's not too gaudy of a number, but there's 6 points off of those turnovers by Fulton so far in this ball game. They're taking advantage whenever they do get points.
The defense has not been good for the Bees so far in this game. Way too many open looks. Now another one for Fulton in the mid-range. This one won't go. Cobb with the rebound. Now he sends it ahead for Torrance. He's got a race to keep it in, and he does so in the corner. Torrance with a lot of speed. Now back to Cobb. Cobb loads up, drives, and a foul is called, and it's a charge. Out of control. Ty Cobb barreled into the lane, and possession back the other way. He's a bit slow to get up, but he's on his feet.
The official on the baseline was going to come call a block, and the official here on the near side on the left wing was the one calling a charge, and Coach McWilliams saw the official on the baseline. Don't overrule each other.
Well, I'm going to be honest. It was a charge. He barreled in there.
Yeah, he did.
He was out of control. You're not going to get that block call most of the time when you drive in like that. 2:40 to go in the first. It's 13-3. Upperman looking for another stop. The 2-3 is very spaced out. Now they work it over top of the key. Swing it back left side, Kimber. This is Taj Kimber now. Bouncing in. It's intercepted. Evan Huddleston with a steal. He had several of those a night ago. Sends right side for Braden Roberts. Back to Huddleston. Now Chaffin. Bronston Chaffin at the top of the key, and Jack Torrance traveled with it as he shuffled his feet. Another turnover, and it goes back the other way.
Yeah, 4th turnover so far for the Bees team. Can't take care of the basketball when they do get it into the half court, just a little too sped up. And this could be some of that youth showing here for the Bees. They haven't been in this situation before here in the semifinals with any of these players.
To be honest, it ain't Fulton right now. Upperman shooting themselves in the foot through the first 6 minutes of the ball game.
And they're 1 of 6 from the field as well.
Kimber with it. Now they send it over left side. Kimber works it back right. Now into the corner they go. Back to him. Derek Smith driving in. Kimber now kicks into the corner. 3 ball is up, and it is no good. Rebound down. Grabbed by Fulton. Turnaround shot with the right hand. Good. And that is the 6th second chance point for Nicholas Steen here in the first quarter. Another steal on an air and inbound pass. Leads to 2 more for Lewis, and it's timeout time for Bobby McWilliams. Upperman getting rolled in this first quarter at 17-3. Full timeout on the floor. We'll take it with them. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Coverage of tonight's game is presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate on the Frontier Chevy UCR Media Network.
Primary bedroom has one of the best features ever. In addition to the hallway access, you could access the laundry room through the closet in the bedroom. The kitchen also features an island, a pantry, and stainless steel appliances. All cabinets throughout the house are soft close and have granite countertops. For more information, call Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate at 931-979-7145 or 931-526-9581. Always ask for Sonja Brown. Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate is proud to support this broadcast on the UCR Media Network.
1:46 to go in the first quarter. Fulton leads by 14, 17-3, and Upperman shooting themselves in the foot right now here in the state semifinal round. We figured out what that discussion was about. One of the officials is grabbing his shoulder. He appears to be a little bit injured, so we have a replacement ref in. He's already reffed a couple of games today. He's back in here to ref another one, so they shuffle in the timeout. 1:46 to go in the first. Upperman trying to inbound in right now. Jacob Fulton making the most of their opportunities, but Upperman's presenting them on a silver platter.
Yeah, I mean, the big number right now, 10-2 in the rebounding category, 10 rebounds for Fulton. 5 of those have been offensive rebounds, and the second chance points obviously in favor of Fulton right now as well, as they've got 6 of those.
Clayton Harris kicks back to Evan Huddleston. Huddleston passes up a 3 as they try to set up in the half court. Now Cobb with it. It's time for Ty Cobb to take this basketball game over if they want a chance. He puts the dribble down, now bumped, gives over left side for Turnbow. Turnbow finds Clayton Harris. Harris looking backdoor for Cobb. He does find him on the low block. Shot fake. Ty blocked out of play. That time it's Nick Steen. He knocks it away, and it'll stay with the Bees.
Yeah, the Bees, offensively, they haven't played great. They're only 1 of 6 from the field, so they're trying to find that rhythm going on. And defensively right now, they can't find anything on that side, so they need to start rebounding the basketball and coming up with a couple of stops.
Inbound goes to Huddleston in the corner. Evan Huddleston. Now one dribble finds Branson Turnbow. Upperman just trying to get something working on offense. Turnbow spins back right side for Evan Huddleston. Huddleston, now Clayton Harris. Harris, little handsy, we go back for Chaffin. And this is 1:03 to go in the first.
This is a Fulton team that's pretty good defensively. They only allow about 50 points per game to their opponents.
Evan Huddleston nearly traveled. Gets it over to Ty Cobb, and now 55 seconds. Cobb going to set up at the midcourt logo. Now Ty goes to work. Cobb gets a ball screen from Chaffin, steps through, now fires it into Harris, and a hold going to be called down low, and that is a bailout as it was a pass going out of bounds. And this one's going to go on Dexter Molden. That's going to be his first. And it's the team's third against Fulton.
Yeah, that was a huge bailout right there for the Bees because that ball was going straight out of bounds. It wasn't the best pass from Cobb, but they were able to keep it.
Inbound, tips by Chaffin. Chaffin goes up strong with it and doesn't get the roll. Rebound back down. Fulton with it. They'll push out in transition, and then there's a carry. Smith tried to get rolling, and there's no question about it. Put his hand under the ball, flipped it over. He's confused, but that's a carry in every country.
Yeah, his feet kind of got a little bit too quick in front of him. The ball didn't quite catch up, so he kind of had to scoop the ball out in front of him, and that's exactly what happened. He already dribbled it once, and then he got the hand underneath it.
And the official says, that's what you did? And he said, I got you. So good on Smith. He was confused at first, but he didn't argue. He said, okay. 35 seconds. Upperman needs to get to a buzzer. Turnbow trying to spin on a defender, now finds Chaffin. Bronston Chaffin left alone at the elbow. In for Harris. Clayton Harris. Bump now back to Chaffin. 24 seconds. Ty Cobb right wing side. He wants a screen. He has it. Chaffin. He works away from it now, and there's a foul. Blocking, trying to stay in front was Taj Kimber. That'll be his first, team's fourth, with 18.2 to go in the first quarter.
That was an important foul call, too, because Clayton Harris was really upset when he got pushed in the back and they didn't call the foul because it was right in front of the official, so much so he actually almost took the play off and was just looking at the official like, hey, man, what are we doing here?
18.2 to go in the first. Upperman inbounds pass quickly to Harris. He puts it up, and a foul is called. Clayton Harris he wasn't even ready. And he's going to go to the line to shoot two. And for Upperman, they'll take this, trying to score with the time stop. Still a long way to go. Yeah. They just got to kind of reminiscent of Pickett County last week where they were all out of sorts early, and they just need to take a breath. Maybe a shot going in would help them.
Yeah, and I mean, for Pickett County, they were down by 13 points. Of course, Upperman down by 14 points right now, but a little bit later in the game at this point. 16 seconds to play in the first and missing on the free throw now.
That foul went on Steen, his first, and the free throw for Harris went right off the front of the rim, no good.
I mean, you've seen him in the last 18 games that they've won, 19 games that they've won. I can't believe they played this bad.
Without question. It's the worst they've looked so far, but there's a lot of time to try to rally back for these young men. Next one for Harris. 0 for 2 at the line. That's the story of the quarter for Upperman. 14 seconds to go in the first, and now they are looking for a stop as Fulton tries to take every bit of momentum into the second frame. Here's Kimber with it. Taj Kimber, 4 seconds. Off a screen. Kimber sends back left side Tyler Lee, and he traveled. Shuffle step, 0.8 seconds on the clock. Upperman will have a chance for a heave potentially here. And I think they probably want it to be Braden Roberts. As Ty Cobb's on the bench, but it's just 0.8, so it's got to be quick. Inbound, back to Roberts. Tries to load up, delivers it, and it's going to be short. And a dominant first quarter for Fulton is in the books. After one, it's Fulton 17, Upperman 3. Coverage of this game is presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate. You're listening to it on the Frontier Chevy UCR Media Network.
Fire and Vine in Cookeville is the Upper Cumberland's home for delicious Chicago-style pizza, beef, chicken, fish, and more. Located in Cookeville's historic downtown district, Fire and Vine's food and atmosphere will keep you coming back for more. Take in stunning views with creative food and drinks on the rooftop. Fire and Vine is proud to support this broadcast on the UCR Media Network. Clint Connor is your local auctions expert. With full service from start to finish, the Exit Crossroads Auction Group are here to make the process easy for you. Visit crossroadsauctiongroup.com for more details and current auctions. Clint Connor, your local auctions expert, is proud to sponsor this broadcast on the UCR Media Network.
Big second quarter here as Upperman all out of sorts. They trail Fulton 17-3 in this state semifinal round. There is time, but you can't allow this to get much worse in a 14-point game. Noah McKay joined by Jacob Vinson. Madison McKay producing things for us here on a late night at the Murphy Center. And maybe that timeout helped the Bees settle back in here as they did not look like the team that we've seen during this 19-game winning streak.
We've talked about the first couple minutes coming out of the halftime break when you're trailing are all important. Well, those minutes are now for the Bees. They're down by 14 points. You don't have the ability to wait until halftime and try to make a comeback in the second half. You have to start the comeback now. You need a great first couple of minutes here to at least get the momentum on your side.
First couple of minutes of each quarter critical in the state tournament, especially as Fulton with the basketball here. Pass is going to be tipped and intercepted. Braden Roberts in a foot race, checks over his shoulder, finger rolls in, points off turnovers, and a quick timeout called here by Jody Wright. He does not want Upperman to roll downhill at all. Braden Roberts with all 5 points. And that's a big one for the Bees.
Yeah, he did not like that pass whatsoever. Braden Roberts read it perfectly. It was telegraphed. They threw it to the left wing and just immediately were going to throw it right back to the top of the key, and Braden Roberts stepped in front, did a really good job in transition, had those couple of extra steps in front of Kimber, still made sure that he wasn't going to try to go over the top and block him away, so he was able to go up and finish.
Kind of talking in the break, Jacob, Fulton's playing well. If they were playing to the peak of their powers, this thing would be 30-5 or so. It wasn't like a onslaught in the first quarter. They just kept ticking away as Upperman kept presenting opportunity after opportunity.
Well, they're shooting it well. They're 50% from the field. Obviously, they're rebounding it well. They've got 12 rebounds after the first quarter, but they now have 6 turnovers, and that's kind of the big number for them right now is they're not really taking good care of the basketball, on pace to have 24 turnovers on the game.
Seems like if Upperman can get it back to single digits, it could turn into a new ball game as they send right wing side. Fulton out of the timeout, trying to settle back in, see what buttons Coach Wright pushed. Now they bounce back out as Upperman stretches the zone. Taj Kimber. Now there's Tyler Lee. Mr. Basketball silent in the first quarter. Kimber rises up, in and out, no good. Lee went up, got the rebound. Now an offensive foul. Cameron Bush takes the charge. Tyler Lee picks up his first, and we're going the other way.
Yeah, it seems like every time we mention a player, they make a play happen. Well, that time it worked in Upperman's favor. Lee gets another offensive rebound. He tries to go up, but he barreled through the defender of Bush, and a nice job by Cam Bush taking the contact.
Full court press here for Fulton as Ty Cobb with the basketball. Cobb scoreless. Lee scoreless, just like we all thought it would as this game's tipped off. The two superstars with nothing doing. The trap comes out to Cobb. He gets it ahead here for Braden Roberts. Chaffin wide open inside. Power dribbles. Bronsden off the glass, and it's a 10-point game.
Yeah, I mean, he just absolutely went into the teeth of the defense. It was a really good job taking on Lewis, and Lewis had nothing for him.
And that's a spot with an advantage for Upperman. Bronsden Chaffin inside with the hops as Fulton trying to settle in. Upperman scored 4 straight here to open up the quarter. Baseline drive. Now Upperman traps in the corner. In some trouble now. The fans rise to their feet. Pass to the baseline. Out of bounds. Possession back to the Bees. 6:39 to go. And the game is changing just slightly here in the Murphy Center.
Oh, I talked about it. Yeah, I said you need it, especially in these first couple of minutes. A great start to the couple of minutes. It's 4-0. You get another turnover, a chance to make it 6 or 7-0 to start out the quarter, and get it within those 8 points or so.
Steen back in here for the Falcons as Cobb going to look to break the pressure again. They're bringing a trap as they get close to the timeline. Cobb turns up the Jets and gets it established in the half court over for Cam Bush. Bush back to Cobb, who sets up the new play. Stepping up to defend for the Falcons is 14, Dexter Molden. Now Chaffin had it poked from him. It's a foot race, and Bronsden Chaffin going to be fouled as trying to dive for it with Steen. That's his second. So Denaj Kimber has 2, and Nick Steen has 2.
He just checked in, too.
And Chaffin, he's going to win a foot race with most people. You wouldn't know it at 6'4", but there's a reason he rushed for 1,200 yards last year for the Bees football team.
Well, it helps when he's 225 pounds.
That does
help.
That does help. And he can jump very high, as we found out last night on that alley-oop.
Yeah.
10-point game, Upperman. Starting to look a little bit more like Upperman here 2 minutes into the second quarter. Cobb brings it across the timeline here, fires for Chaffin. Chaffin playing a lot behind the arc early. Pass intended for Roberts is tipped, and Molden in a foot race with Braden Roberts, and he swiped it out of his hands. What a play by Roberts to get it clean and avoid disaster off the turnover. Fulton will have to earn it in the half court.
That was a really good job. He was able to make up some of that ground with his speed, and Braden Roberts, kind of that sneaky speed with him, was able to get back there, swipe it away, and a couple of times now they've been able to get back in the defensive transition.
6:04 to go in the second quarter. Inbounds from the baseline, fired over to right side corner, kick out, open 3 after a shot fake is up, and it is good. Dexter Lewis with his second triple, big answer for Fulton as they stretch it back to a 13-point advantage. Now Upperman starting to get loose with the basketball as the pass is tipped out of play. It stays with the Bees.
And Fulton is one of those teams where it looks like you have passing lanes, but then they close up just like that. They get so quickly into those passing lanes, and you're seeing that right now with the Bees. They expect that pass to be there, and it just hasn't been there that many times.
Especially when you're going 40, 50 feet with that pass. There's a long time for these speedy Falcons to get there. 5:44 to go in the second quarter. Chaffin with it, works it left side. Roberts fires into Cobb, puts it up with the left hand and good. Ty Cobb finally on the scoreboard. 10 minutes into the ball game.
Yeah, it was a really good play call there. Got Cobb loose inside, able to draw some of that contact, but a good job by Kimber to not foul.
There's Taj Kimber with it. He has 1 foul. Now over to Molden. Molden fires in. Roberts tipped it, but it found the target. Now it's going to be a reach on Braden Roberts. He got away with 1. You're not going to get away with the second. First personal on Roberts. First team foul on the Bees.
Yeah, he reached with the right hand first. He got away with that one. Then he went back with the second hand, the left hand, and that's the one that got the foul call on.
So Upperman spotted Fulton a double-digit lead. They've started to settle in on the offensive end, but Fulton, they can score a bunch of points. Inbounds goes to Molden. Mid-range jumper, no. Rebound down. Cam Bush comes away. Now fires it to Chaffin, who wasn't ready for it. Wasn't even looking. And it's a steal back for the Falcons. Molden kicks over into the corner. Now working in. Off kilter for three. That one's no good. And a break for the Bees, as that was a bad decision by Kimber. Cobb now into the half court for Upperman, trailing by 11. 5 to go in the second. Cobb sends over for Braden Roberts. Now a little screen from Harris, back right side for Cobb. Cobb from behind the arc, works off of Clayton Harris screen. Now he rolls inside. Harris, reverse feed over for Bush. Bush puts the dribble down. Cam Bush passes up a shot. Instead, Cobb going to drive in. Ty Cobb, no good. Got his own rebound, though. The putback, no good. Too far underneath the basket. He got it again, and Ty Cobb finishes. 6'1", 2 offensive rebounds, and 2 more points.
Yeah, that was a man rebound right there in amongst the trees. Able to get it on the third try and finally got it to fall.
Claps his hands together as the Bees are back to single digits. It's 20-11, and they're starting to work on offense. 4:20 to go in the second quarter here. Bouncing to the teeth of the defense. Now working it back is Smith. Smith splits a double team with a nice feed. Molden on the way for 2. No. Harris with the board. Here comes Upperman. Braden Roberts ahead for Cobb. Cobb broke the defender's ankles. Fires to Bush. Cam Bush blocked. Harris got it. Kicks to Roberts. Roberts back to Chaffin as Upperman sets back up. Here's Cobb. Cobb off a screen. Right side for Cam Bush. The senior Cameron Bush picks up his dribble, and now this is where Fulton wants to be. But he does get the pass to Roberts. 3:50 to go in the second. Upperman trying to crack back closer.
Yeah, they're starting to fall into a rhythm a little bit now.
Now Cam Bush off the dribble, drives, reverses over for Cobb. Open 3, Ty Cobb, good! Here comes Upperman. A Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate 3.
That's a big shot by the freshman, Ty Cobb from the left wing. Great ball reversal as well. The Bees starting to move that basketball around, and Fulton not able to get that rotation over there on the right side. Cobb able to knock it down.
7 straight Ty Cobb points as the freshman cooking in the glass house. 3:20 to go, and all of a sudden, it's a 2-possession game. And Fulton slowing it down. Lewis sends over left side. The Falcons trying to answer back. They're very capable. Nice feed. Finds Kimber. Kimber with a reverse feed over to Molden. Baseline pass. There's Lee. Step back 3 for Mr. Basketball. No. Rebound tipped. Bush with a good box out, but it stays with Fulton. Outlet pass finds Smith. Smith over to Lee. Tyler Lee still scoreless, but not for long. Fadeaway jumper, no. Nice rebound for Bronston Chaffin. And Upperman starting to put a run together. They had the basketball again.
Had Dexter Lewis on his left arm the whole way, able to catch it with the right.
Cobb trying to post up. It's a good job by Smith. He jumps in front of the pass to knock it away. Another turnover. This time Falcons looking to capitalize. Reverse feed back out to Smith. Smith splits the defenders. Throws it up. No good, but a foul is called. And Derek Smith going to go to the line to shoot 2. 2:32 to go in the second. Little ticky-tack, but Smith going to shoot 2, see who it's on.
I think they're going to get this one on Cobb, and I don't know if I really agree with that.
And that's a big one. It's the second personal on Ty Cobb, and Bobby McWilliams with his hands out says, what do you want him to do? As Smith goes to the line.
His hands are straight up in the air. He was actually trying to back away from him. Smith created all the contact, and I mean, there was just the slightest of nudges that they called the foul on.
It's a huge call. As the best player, maybe on the floor, has 2 fouls. But you got to leave him in there for Bobby McWilliams. He's playing too well at 20-14. And Alan Asbury, who handles a lot of the substitutions as well with Austin McWilliams and Brian Johnson. Jace McWilliams down there as well. They're leaving Ty Cobb in. He's got to play the next 2:32 without fouling.
Absolutely.
First free throw was no good. A big miss for Smith. Upperman fans making a lot of noise as Smith lines up the second. It's no good. And ball don't lie. Chaffin with a rebound, and now Cobb going to bring it up. He's got to be weary. They're going to try to take a charge. Here comes Cobb. New play, crosses the timeline. Cobb gives it over to Turnbow. Turnbow harassed by Smith. Now Chaffin with it. Chaffin one dribble, hands off to Cobb, and a foul.
Well, they called an offensive foul on Chaffin.
Bronston Chaffin got called for his first.
It is really tough with that handoff because you do have to come set. He never came set. He was already rolling as he's trying to hand the basketball off. There was contact. It's a pretty good call.
And Braden Roberts going to check in. Ty Cobb will check out. 2:13 to go in the second. He does check out in the regular season. This is a different situation, of course, but with 2 fouls.
He's been on the whole time.
They need him in the third. They've settled into the basketball game, though. We're back to where we thought we would be in a back-and-forth ball game.
Yeah, and it's been the defense. The defense has been so much better here in the second quarter.
Now trying to work through the defense. That one kicked by Clayton Harris. Would have been a fast break, but his foot did get in the way of that basketball, so it stays with the Falcons.
And what's happening right now for the zone, it's not getting extended like it was in that first quarter, and there's not as many open avenues, especially for offensive rebounds.
Inbound from the baseline coming here from Fulton. Kimber fires over into the corner. Huddleston picks up as now they kick out for Dexter Lewis. Works it over into the corner, and they are content to allow Molden to do whatever he wants out there. They are not guarding him. Back out to Tyler Lee, and he's going to slow it down a little bit. Sends over left side to Lewis. Now a pass to Kimber, went through his hands. He corrals right side Molden. Bounces back. Kimber now works it around left side Smith. Smith slices through the defense. Nice baseline feed to Molden, who goes up off the glass for two. Dexter Molden makes it an 8-point game again. Fulton, who's led by as many as 14, with an answer. Now another bad pass. Out of play. Possession back to Fulton. Upperman really hurting themselves with the turnovers.
Well, of course, Cobb on the bench right now. Turnbow kind of ducked in. He knew that half-court trap was going to come, so he stopped in the backcourt, tried to throw a pass ahead, and it just wasn't a good one.
11 first-half turnovers for Upperman. Now baseline Fulton. There's a tie-up, and a foul is called. Looked like they got all ball to me, but I'm a long way away as Lee was in there. It's going to be the fourth team foul. If it's on Chaffin, it's his second. This is a big call. Clayton Harris was there as well, and it goes on Clayton Harris. That's his first. So that's a break for Upperman as Chaffin and Harris were both in there grabbing hold of the basketball. And now we've got a bench warning against Upperman.
Coach McWilliams.
He's not happy. And it's the replacement ref who's come in that's
He's made himself known.
He's not had a great tournament. He was in the 2A game as the three ball is up. That one's no good. Rebound down. Clayton Harris goes up to grab it. Upperman looking for an answer here with 1:08 to go in the second. Ty Cobb on the bench. Maybe Braden Roberts' time here for the Bees. Huddleston works over left side. Turnbow flashes in for Chaffin. Chaffin with a nice turnaround. Good. Count it. And one. Bronston Chaffin. Delayed call by the official. But Upperman likes it, and Bronston Chaffin to the line to shoot one and try to cut the deficit back down to just 5.
It was kind of funny because everybody looked at the official. What's the call? And then he makes the call. And Chaffin, a really good move inside. He drew the contact, and the Fulton coach, he's kind of wondering what was going on with that play as well.
And the question is about who was down there for that foul.
Yeah.
And let's see who they ended up calling it on. They called it on Lewis. That's just his first. At least that's what we have on our official scoreboard here. So not sure what the question is about, but it's going to be one free throw for Bronston Chaffin at the Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate free throw line. It's up, and it is good. Chaffin been really good at the line all season for a big man, and now it's tipped out of play, and it's going to stay with Fulton. 59 seconds to go. Upperman's within 5. They trailed by 14 earlier on in this quarter, and Bronston Chaffin with a little smirk on his face looking at Dexter Molden. Now they send over left side. There's Lee. Lee bounces it into the half court. Now it's intercepted. Tipped by Huddleston again. The speed of Evan Huddleston on display here in the state tournament. The pinch runner, left fielder for the Bees baseball team, showing it off. Here's Roberts. Works it over for Huddleston. Huddleston.
Again, they're doing this without Cobb as well.
Right. Huddleston working away from Smith. Now finds Turnbow. Turnbow closely guarded by Taj Kimber. Stiff screen from Harris. Fires in. Another turnover. Intercepted again. Possession back the other way. Pushing it is Fulton. Now Turnbow able to swipe it away. It'll stay with the Falcons, and right now, Branson Turnbow just needs to take a breath. Several turnovers here for Upperman.
We saw this
so far.
We saw this with Jalen Hurd in that Cookeville game. Just a little bit sped up here in this ball game so far in the semifinals. And Branson Turnbow really, really good defensively. He's able to get back and knock that one out of bounds, but just hasn't been able to make good passes from that point guard spot. And they're trying to keep Cobb fresh on the bench here with 22 seconds.
And he's got those 2 fouls as the inbounds comes here to Fulton. A score here would give him momentum. Right now, Upperman going to feel pretty good with how it started.
Absolutely.
The fact that they're within single digits at all is pretty impressive.
14-5 in favor of Upperman here in the second quarter.
They're not playing very well, and they're within 5 points on the reigning champs. They're going to have a chance in the second half no matter what happens on this play. Left side pass goes to Kimber. Kicks over into the corner. Now trying to slice through, reverse feed out. 3 ball is up. It is online, but it's no good. And a really strong second quarter for Upperman has them back in this basketball game. After 2, it's Fulton 22, Upperman 17. 2 quarters to decide who's moving on to the state championship game. Coverage presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate. You're watching it on the Frontier Chevy UCR Media Network, and we'll be back with the Happy Hiller halftime show in just moments.
Crouch team with Highlands Elite Real Estate proudly presents this gorgeous home on Cross Point Drive. Boasting 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms with nearly 2,000 square feet, this home in the Prescott School District in Cookeville could be your forever home. Call 931-979-1191 for more information and to schedule a showing, or visit chadandamycrouch.com. The Crouch team with Highlands Elite Real Estate is proud to sponsor this broadcast on the UCR Media Network. Delicious Pan Pizza is Domino's best-kept secret. With locations in Smithville, Sparta, Livingston, Allgood, and 2 in Cookeville, Delicious Pan and hand-tossed pizza, pasta, and more is never far away. Use the Domino's app to take care of your game day eats today. Domino's is proud to support this broadcast on the UCR Media Network. Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing is proud to support student-athletes and athletic departments throughout the Upper Cumberland. They're also proud to sponsor the Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing Player of the Game on this broadcast. From trophies to t-shirts, they can do it all. Stop by and see them at 120 Circle Drive in Allgood or give them a call at 931-537-9559. Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing is proud to sponsor this broadcast on the UCR Media Network. Frontier Chevrolet is ready to get you into your next vehicle and are proud to offer a lifetime powertrain warranty on nearly all vehicles below 80,000 miles. View inventory online at www.caseyschevy.com, including the brand new Chevy Trax and Traverse, or stop in at 2350 Cookeville Highway today. Remember, don't buy till you see Jason Fye.
TLT Sports Performance is home to skill-specific training where top athletes learn how to reach their full potential. Visit TLT Sports Performance on Facebook for more information. TLT Sports Performance, where the athletes of tomorrow train today.
I'm looking for someone who can keep me comfortable, stay here for the long run, and definitely not high maintenance. Not right. Absolutely not. This one looks perfect.
Find your perfect match with Hiller. Get a free UV light with select new HVAC systems, 50% off a descaler with new tankless water heaters, or free surge protection with a new whole home generator.
Like that one too.
Hone and develop your skills on the court with professional basketball player development from Legacy Athletics. Call 931-303-3356 or follow them on Instagram at legacy_athletics or on Twitter at jwinningham25 for more information today. Legacy Athletics, proud sponsor of this broadcast on the UCR Media Network.
It's time for the Happy Hiller Halftime Show. Visit happyhiller.com to see how our friends at Hiller can help solve your plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical problems today. That's happyhiller.com. At the break here at the Murphy Center in front of a huge crowd tuning in online. This is the largest Happy Hiller Halftime Show crowd of all time. It is 22-17. Knoxville Fulton leads Upperman. And if you just tune in right now and you saw that score, you go, ooh, that's not ideal. But if you've been listening to the game so far, it's pretty ideal for Upperman as they were down 17-3. And now in that second quarter, outscored Fulton 14-5. They're back in the basketball game right now, Jacob Vincent.
Absolutely, and it all started defensively. They just could not find the rhythm with that 2-3 zone. They were getting too spread out. They're letting open cutters run through free, and then they could not rebound the basketball in that first quarter. Rebounded it much better in the second. I don't remember what the margin was, but now it's 14-12. So they completely out-rebounded them in the second quarter, obviously outscored them 14-5 as well, and I'm sure that was the conversation. And I said it, as they're getting started in that second quarter, they don't have the capabilities of waiting until halftime to get that second half surge. They need to do it right now. They started out on that 4-0 run. They get a turnover, get the basketball back, and they were right back into the basketball game as close it is as it has been ever since they were down 17-3 at the end of the first.
And despite the run, it doesn't feel like we've seen Upperman's best game yet.
No.
They're still turning the basketball over. The defense, after struggling a little bit early, looked really good in that second quarter, limiting some of the wide open lanes that Fulton had, and they did it over the back half of the quarter with no Ty Cobb after picking up his second personal foul.
Branson Turnbow comes in for him, and Turnbow just looks a little sped up right now. He just needs to take a deep breath.
On defense. He did well on
he's
defense.
been tremendous defensively. It's just been offensively where he's struggled a little bit trying to pass the ball. 3 turnovers, and I think all of them came in that second quarter, and they may have come there in that last 2 minutes or so. So this very easily could be a one-possession game, if not closer to tied, if they're able to take care of the basketball a little bit better. So that'll be the main thing coming out in the second half. Now you've got that half under your belt. The nerves are kind of settled, at least out of the way. Ty Cobb is going to be back out there on the court. So now you're finally able to get back into your maybe full rhythm, and defensively, you got to keep doing what you were doing in the second and keep rebounding the basketball.
Yeah, Ty Cobb, you mentioned him leaving with those 2 fouls, but he had rattled off 7 points in quick succession for the Bees. He was really starting to get it rolling as he had woken up. The other news, Mr. Basketball scoreless. Tyler Lee with no points in that first half. Clear that Upperman had him circled on the game plan. He hasn't had many open opportunities.
Hasn't really been threatening at all either. He's 0 for 3 from the field. He's only got 1 rebound, and he hasn't really been commanding the basketball. But again, with this Fulton team, they've kind of got 3 guys that can be the leader on any
double figures.
Exactly. So it's similar to that Cookeville team.
Yep.
You can't really pinpoint any singular guy because anybody can go out and get 20 points a ball game. So for Fulton, they've got 4 guys that can do that same thing. So they're Mr. Basketball. While he is Mr. Basketball, he only averages 15 points a game. That is not outstanding in terms of usual Mr. Basketball.
Now, the thing with Tyler Lee is he can get rolling in a hurry.
Correct.
He can go out there,
Correct.
like we saw Ty Cobb rattle off 7 straight points, and if he does that early in the second half, a 5-point game becomes a 12-point game. A couple of big things to mention. Upperman's going to start the half with the basketball. They're down just 5. That is far from insurmountable.
Yeah.
So it's going to feel probably like a normal half. We talked about this last week, and we talked about it this morning with Bartlett and Cookeville as well. We talked about it last week at Pickett County, Wayne County. When you're facing the favorite entering the tournament, once you know you belong on the floor, things typically change.
Yeah.
Certainly felt like early in the second quarter, Upperman clicked in and realized they belong on the same floor with this Falcon squad.
And I don't know if it ever was that they didn't feel like they didn't belong in the first quarter. They just were playing their worst basketball of the season in that first quarter. And fortunately, they didn't dig themselves too much of a hole, only down by 14 points. Were able to stop it for a moment and then able to settle themselves into the second.
Yeah, you mentioned the games I've called. This is the 35th Upperman game of the season. I believe I've called 33 of them. That was certainly the worst they played since the second half of the Stone Memorial game, where they just couldn't buy a bucket, and Cade Caps did Cade Caps things, which, by the way, and this is going to come back to bite me. I understand that. That dude should have been Mr. Basketball. I'm sitting here watching Mr. Basketball up close. He's a good player. He's a very good player.
He's going to go for 15 and 10 here in the second
I understand
half
that. No matter what he does, Cade Cap should have been Mr. Basketball.
You're correct.
28.5 points per game for that Stone Memorial team. Regardless, and Ty Cobb probably should have been on the podium. But I digress. He will be next year because he was on this stage here in the state tournament. And Tyler Lee last year was the MVP of the state tournament. That a lot of times is a springboard towards a Mr. Basketball award. 1:40 to go here in halftime. It's 22-17. Coverage of tonight's game is presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate. Join us tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. tip-off, as the Cookeville Cavaliers play in their first ever state championship game, boys or girls basketball. First one. Never played in a football state championship game. They did play in one baseball state championship game back in the 1970s. They won a couple of wrestling state championships, golf state championships. But when it comes to the traditional team sports that jump to the front of your mind, one of the first opportunities ever in the history of the school. They take on Independence, powerhouse out of Middle Tennessee. At 11 a.m. tip-off. We'll be live with pregame coverage at about 10:40 or so, about a 20-minute pregame show for the Class 4A state championship game. If Upperman comes back to win this game, we'll have their matchup against Ridgeway tomorrow night at 6:30. If it's Fulton, we won't be here. We'll be long gone from the Murphy Center by then. The teams have reemerged from their locker room. Upperman is in white, Fulton is in black. It'll be Upperman basketball working left to right on your screen when we get back to action. 2 quarters to decide who's moving on to the state championship game. And yes, we are live, nearing 10 p.m. Central Time in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, of course, they started the girls' state tournament on Wednesday, so they start the boys' state tournament on Wednesday as well. We really hope they go back to Tuesday next year.
While we have a moment, I also want to thank our friends at Hall Sports and Outdoors for being one of the all-inclusive sponsors here at UCR. Hall Sports and Outdoors, located right on the square in Jamestown. But listen, even if you're not in Jamestown, you can visit hall42.com for more information. You can shop online. This place is awesome. And whether maybe you have a team or an event that you need shirts for, they do that as well, in addition to, of course, all your sporting goods, hunting gear, camo, anything else you can need. Right there, this is an awesome place. It's a gym right in Jamestown. And we appreciate them for being a long-running sponsor to us here at UCR. 8 minutes to go here, or 16 minutes to go, rather, in this ball game. Upperman basketball as Fulton shows the press. It comes into Ty Cobb, and here we go in the glass house. Cobb playing with 2 fouls, gives off to Roberts. Now Harris in the corner. Clayton Harris, the senior MTSU football signee, running out of time, able to find Evan Huddleston. Huddleston drives and kicks And Bronston Chaffin, I think, thought somebody was standing behind him. They weren't. Another turnover, and it goes the other way. Not the start you wanted if you're an Upperman fan. The 13th turnover of the night.
Yeah, it wasn't a great pass. Huddleston was he kind of got stuck in the middle there, was trying to kick it back out. And I think he was trying to look for Chaffin, but he didn't throw it to Chaffin. He kind of expected him to come meet the basketball, and Chaffin wasn't quite expecting it either.
So Fulton looking to expand a 5-point lead as they give off left side. I wonder if we may see more Tyler Lee with the basketball. He's underneath the basket right now. Clayton Harris has him in this 2-3 zone as they work it over for Lewis. Lewis now fires right side to Denaj Kimber. Back to Lewis. He gets inside, now fires to Lee. It's tipped and intercepted. He had a wide open layup. He was trying to get it to Mr. Basketball, and Clayton Harris took it. Evan Huddleston, as the teams have traded turnovers early. Huddleston picks up, finds Harris. Heavy dose of Clayton Harris early on in this half. He looking to back down to the defender, finds Cobb. Cobb off the dribble. Ty Cobb goes up with the right hand. No, got his own rebound potentially. It's tipped and now intercepted. The Fulton Falcons will come away. Denaj Kimber pushing it ahead. Sends over left side. Couple of empty possessions for the Bees. One turnover, one missed shot. A kick back now, Dexter Lewis. Lewis gives off to Steen. Steen drives, now gets free, no good. Fight for the rebound, though. Great hustle in. Grabbing it was Lewis. Extends it here for the Falcons. Kick out pass finds Steen. Steen gives over left side for Taj Kimber.
That was another one of those offensive rebounds where they just didn't pick up a box out.
Still our halftime score as Lee is fouled. Will it be on the floor or will it be a shooting foul? We'll wait and see.
Should be on the floor.
Looks like it's going to be on the floor. They got it to Tyler Lee, and he was double-teamed immediately. Who's this call on is important. It goes on Bronston Chaffin, and that is his second. Team's first.
And Lee and Kimber were kind of upset with each other about something.
This Upperman defense has been good tonight. Inbounds pass sent over
Second
left side
quarter.
for Steen. Steen.
Yeah, this is a Fulton offense. They score 74 points a game.
And they can score in a hurry.
Yeah.
They get it rolling. You can look out. Here's Kimber. Going a little bit slow right now methodically. Kimber thought about the three. Fires a tip pass to Steen. Steen into Chaffin. Now forced back out. Kimber. Sends over left side. There's Smith. Lewis. Lewis. Now a travel. Sliding the foot was Lewis as Roberts and Cobb got there with a trap. Possession back to Upperman. They're having opportunities. They got to find a way to come away with some points.
And you can see that zone is now starting to get into the minds of the Fulton players. They're starting to get a little frustrated with each other. And Lewis is trying to ask for his teammates, hey, come to the basketball. Help me out a little bit. And now it's starting to get it kind of into the mindset a little bit.
This Upperman team is fast with those guards out there as Cobb picks up his dribble. And now we're going to have a foul away from the ball. And it's going to go on Tyler Lee as he held Bronston Chaffin, who was trying to go up to help Ty Cobb. It'll be the second on Tyler Lee.
So that's a big foul as well. Both Lee and Chaffin with a couple of fouls.
Cobb has 2 fouls as well. So whoever picks up that third could tip the scales because a star is going to be the first one to get to that number.
And it seems like in the second half, both teams are starting to kind of feel each other out again. Obviously, a few turnovers.
Almost feels like the first quarter.
Yeah, it does.
As Cobb gives over to Roberts. Roberts now bounces it for Harris. Clayton Harris, top of the key. Into Chaffin, kicks out to Roberts. Now Harris again. And now a foul. That's going to be a reach as Nick Steen, he picked up his third. So the first one to three is Steen. And that was he was trying to reach in and get the ball and caught the top of the hand of Chaffin. And now he's going to get subbed out here. Checking in will be Travis Turner.
First time as well.
So we have had a scoreless 2:20 to open up this third quarter.
It feels like one of those early season contests in the first quarter where it's just very vanilla at the start of the game.
And these two teams can really score. Yeah. They've got weapons everywhere. Roberts with it. Remember in December where I say on coaches shows how many games end up in the 70s in the glass house? Yeah, remember this one next year when I say that again. And you look at me like I'm crazy. Chaffin reverses out to Roberts. Roberts works around the defender, goes up in the mid-range for two, and he got it. Braden Roberts cuts it to a possession for the first time since the first quarter.
Well, it took a while, but they finally got it there. A one-possession lead now, and good job by Roberts. He actually had a dump-off pass to Harris if he wanted it, kept it himself, and able to get it to fall.
I was thinking, man, I thought he only shot threes. Not that time. Roberts gets it in the mid-range. Bouncing in, here's Lee. Fadeaway jumper in the mid-range, no offensive rebound, though. A strong one. Kick-out pass. Deep three, good. Denaj Kimber with an answer for Fulton. He's got 2 triples tonight, and it's a 6-point game.
Well, Lee missed badly, and then the Bees couldn't get the rebound, and Lee just hasn't looked right out there, but he can't get a defensive rebound. It's going to be tough.
Cobb with a wicked spin move, now trying to break the press. He does so to Chaffin. Clayton Harris wide open inside. He has it. Defense arrives. Kicks to Roberts for the answer. No. Rebound down. Wrestled. Roberts has it. Now he's bumped. Goes down. We'll play on. One-on-one here, driving up is Kimber. He's met by Huddleston, throws up the runner, no. Rebound punched way up into the air. Lewis has it. Lewis into Chaffin, and that's going to be a travel.
What a job by
Lowered his
Chaffin.
shoulder into Chaffin, and then the feet went out from under him. And possession back to Upperman.
I mean, that was a tremendous job by the sophomore. He was the only player back, and I was laughing because Kimber came in, and he had literally no idea what to do against Chaffin, who was just standing there looming. Chaffin was just kind of baiting him into it. He didn't even do anything. He just stood there.
Good defense by Evan Huddleston in transition, by the way, after the turnover as Cobb sends ahead to Roberts. Roberts had it poked, but Cobb is right there. Ty Cobb, backdoor Cam Bush. They love that play. And Cam Bush puts it off the glass, back to a 4-point game.
Well, it was almost a turnover, but Ty Cobb, fortunately, just kind of running the floor, was able to pick up the basketball. But now the Bees, they need a stop right here with 4 minutes to go in the third.
Denaj Kimber brings it up as the defense chant rings out from the Hive, which is here tonight. Right side, there's Lee. Back over to Kimber. Back to Lee again. Lee going to drive it in the mid-range, now floats back. Taj Kimber now over to Denaj. Now left side. He finds Lewis. Dexter Lewis now. The trap being shown. They're able to get it back. Taj Kimber right side to Tyler Lee. Lee doesn't like what he sees, so he gives back off. Taj Kimber. Now right wing side. They find it back for Lewis. Lewis now finds Kimber. Now into the corner. 3:27 to go in the third quarter. It's a 4-point game. There's Tyler Lee. Closed out on by Roberts. Gives back over to Kimber. It's Denaj Kimber now right side. Lee runs into Harris. Kicks back. Now they work it around. Long possession here. Crowd loves it. Mid-range jumper up. Chaffin got a foul. Yeah, he thought he got away with it, but he certainly committed that foul. It's the third on Bronsden Chaffin, and it's going to be 2 free throws here for Fulton. No question about it. He hacked him on the way up.
Smacked him right in the face on the way down, too. So I mean, he earned his foul, and he almost got away with it. And it was actually the official that had the worst look at it, I think.
Taj Kimber going to the line where he will shoot 2 on the season. He's a 73% free throw shooter. He is scoreless tonight.
That's impressive.
That was a long possession for Fulton. Wasn't a great look, but Chaffin commits the foul.
It was a really good defensive possession.
Free throw, no good, in and out. Every missed free throw was another opportunity for Upperman. They trailed 17-3. Chaffin with 3 fouls is out. Upperman's going small. Turnbow's in. Harris the lone big on the floor.
Big minutes here for Turnbow. He's been really, really good defensively. Just has to calm down a little bit offensively.
Second one coming up here for Kimber. That one, nothing but net. Nice adjustment. His first point tonight, and it's back to a 5-point game. Cobb sends it to Turnbow. Turnbow trying to solve this defense, crosses the timeline himself. Turnbow with Kimber approaching. Now it's a double team, and another turnover. Possession back the other way. 2:58 to go in the third. And just can't turn the ball over like that.
He just doesn't look like he has a whole lot of confidence dribbling the basketball right now. And it was a back cut by Roberts. They weren't on the same page. He threw it straight out of bounds.
Fulton with the basketball now in the half court as they give back. Kimber to Kimber. And now left side, there's Lee. Big possession here as they try to re-stretch an advantage. Upperman stays in that 2-3. Bounce pass out, Kimber. These would love a turnover, try to get out in transition before the defense for Fulton can set up. It's been a battle so far as we expected it to be. Maybe not the path we anticipated, but this is about the result we thought we'd be at. Right side 3 for Lee, in and out, no good. Rebound on a great box out for Clayton Harris.
That's a really good box out.
Now here's Branson Turnbow. Gets a screen from Harris. It's a good one. Now Turnbow fires right side for Bush. The senior Cam Bush works around the defender, reverses, and that one's tipped out of play by Lee. It'll stay with the Bees with 2:14 to go in the third.
That was a big miss there by Lee, because if it does go down, it's back to an 8-point lead. Now if you're the Bees, you need a shot here to fall and not go down by those 8 points or 7
Again,
points.
no Bronsden Chaffin for Upperman as he's out with 3 fouls. Ty Cobb going to bring it across as he's in the backcourt now off the inbounds. 2:10 to go in the third quarter. We've gone back and forth. Same gap it was at halftime. Cobb showing off the handles. Gets a Harris screen, but now picks up the dribble. Able to find Roberts on the left wing, back to Ty Cobb. Ty now floats to the logo. And they're grabbing Clayton Harris inside. Cobb drives and kicks over to Roberts. Braden Roberts, 4-3, no. Foul down low. Is it on Harris?
Yeah.
It is. Clayton Harris going to pick up his second personal. He was battling in there with Dexter Lewis, and it'll go the other way.
Yeah, he had the mismatch initially. They couldn't get him the basketball, and those two were absolutely going at each other kind of before that shot went up, and he finally got the foul called as the shot was going up.
Jack Torrance is at the table. He'll check in. Branson Turnbow comes out. Torrance, remember, sparked him in the district championship game. They ended up rolling in that ball game against Livingston, but it was a dogfight early. He hit 7 straight points, so he can shoot it. Had a big 3 in the quarterfinal round. Upperman looking for a stop defensively as Tyler Lee brings it across the timeline. Lee runs into Torrance, drives inside. He's met by Harris off the glass and good. Tyler Lee with his first points. They come with 1:39 to go in the third. Upperman's deficit back to 7. They need a bucket. A long time scoreless for the Bees. Cobb now with it. It's got to be his show. Cobb steps through the defense, and it's intercepted on a pass that was tipped. Lee with it. Now it's a foot race. Kimber goes up. Roberts meets him at the top and blocks it. Big-time block by Braden Roberts. It'll stay on this end with 1:23 to go in the third.
He has been really good in the defensive transition so far tonight, getting back and at that time staying straight up and still meeting up at the top, just not allowing anything easy going in the transition.
Baseline inbound. Lewis, little shot fake. Mid-range pull-up jumper. No good. Rebound down. Nobody followed it. And it led to an easy 2 for Denaj Kimber. That's simply falling asleep at the wheel if you're Upperman. Back down 9, and they could be in trouble. They need an answer. Long drought offensively. They've only scored 4 in the frame.
Well, it's looking more like the first quarter.
And Cobb just got punched. No foul.
He created all that
Goes
contact.
left side to Kimber. Now kicked out. 3 ball on the way. No good. Rebound. Tyler Lee goes up. Turnaround shot. Good. And it's timeout time for Upperman. We'll see if they burn it. Tyler Lee with a turnaround shot. Back to an 11-point Fulton lead. Cobb with it. Cobb fires ahead to Torrance. Jack Torrance with numbers if he hurries. Bush back to Roberts. Roberts now resets. Upperman needs a bucket in the worst way, Jacob. And Bronston Chaffin's at the table. It's go time now with the season on the line.
Yeah, you need some points into the fourth quarter and desperately.
Harris with it. Backs off the defender Lee. Now Bush. And we're going to have a hold inside as they grab Ty Cobb. And this one's going to go on Fulton, and I believe it's going to go on Lee. If it is, it's his third. Kimber was also there, though, and it may go on him. It does. It's going to be Taj Kimber, his second. It's the team's third. And here comes Bronston Chaffin in for Cam Bush. So Upperman had an answer. They need another one here. Or Fulton's going to go back to the title game, and now we have an offensive foul for a moving screen inside, and I think it's going to go on Clayton Harris. It does. Clayton Harris just picked up his third. So both bigs for the Bees with 3 fouls, and Fulton with an opportunity to take a commanding lead into the fourth quarter. And the body language right now for Upperman is not good.
No.
Jacob Benson.
No, it's not. Harris was trying to get Chaffin loose there. Chaffin's going to come out here with the 26 seconds to go in the quarter to not pick up that fourth foul, but they just aren't playing the same way that they were back in the second quarter, or even at the start of this third quarter.
Denaj Kimber with it across the timeline. Upperman awaits his arrival, and he's going to hold for the final look here with 16 seconds. Fulton secure with a double-digit lead, but there's going to be 8 minutes to go after this break. 9 seconds. Left wing pass for Kimber. This is Taj Kimber. Taj off a screen. Torrance follows. Now sends right side. Denaj Kimber kicks back to Taj. Got it off in time. No good. That brings us to the end of the third quarter. 1 frame to go with a trip to the state championship game on the line. After 3, it's Fulton 32, Upperman 21. Coverage of this game presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate on the Frontier Chevy UCR Media Network.
Steel Technologies has been part of the Rutherford County community for over 35 years. Their plants in Murfreesboro and Smyrna include over 150 teammates who process coils, metal sheets, and planks for customers across North America. Steel Tech's Smyrna and Murfreesboro plants are expanding, and they need teammates to join their team. With openings including machine and forklift operators, truck drivers, and more, they have the position for you with competitive wages and monthly bonus opportunities. For more information and to apply online, scan the QR code on your screen now. Steel Tech is a proud sponsor of this broadcast on the UCR Media Network. Steel Tech. Faith, family, Steel Tech. From the sports field to the hunting field, our friends at Hall Sports and Outdoors can outfit anyone. Located in the heart of Jamestown at 207 South Main Street, Hall Sports and Outdoors carries everything from kayaks, fishing gear, and camo to guns and ammo. With top brands such as Columbia, Timberland, Under Armour, Asics, and much more, nobody can top their selection. Need some custom gear for your team? They also offer uniforms, gear, and custom embroidery. Stop by and see them at 207 South Main Street in Jamestown. Hall Sports and Outdoors, proud sponsor of this broadcast on the UCR Media Network.
1 quarter to go here in the state semifinal round of Class 3A. Fulton with the basketball and an 11-point lead over Upperman. Low-scoring affair, 32-21. And now they send left side. Fulton with it. There's Smith. Now turnaround jumper for Lee. Inside, no. Chaffin with a great rebound again. Bronston Chaffin. He's in foul trouble, as is Clayton Harris. Now a bad pass ahead. Roberts tries to run it down, tipped out of play, and a foul is called. And it's going to go on Fulton, and they got to be careful. And the official is looking for a reason to tee him up. And Upperman would love it. Keep talking. as Denaj Kimber picks up his third personal.
I'll be honest, I think I would have reacted the same way.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, it was a 50-50 ball.
That was not a foul.
And there really wasn't even any contact.
That was definitely not a foul, but Upperman will take it. First team foul against Fulton, 32-21. Roberts got to get it in. He does so to Harris. Back to Roberts. Ty Cobb time here for the Bees. Cobb off the dribble left side. Splits the defense, and he turns it over. Quickly ahead, here comes Kimber. Denaj Kimber throws it up with the left hand. Good. Denaj Kimber for two, and Fulton's lead nearing their largest of the night. They led by 14 early on. Now they're up by 13.
Yeah, they've done a really good job weathering that storm by Upperman and getting back into the basketball game, and Upperman just kind of going away from it.
And Braden Roberts, no pass, and it goes right back to Denaj Kimber for an easy two. Timeout Bobby McWilliams. They're trying to break the press, and they didn't pass it.
Nope.
And that leads to an easy two. Fulton has a 15-point lead, and Upperman is in trouble here against the reigning champs.
Yeah, you're down by 14 at the end of the first quarter. It feels a little bit better because you've got 3 more quarters to do it. Now you're down by 15 with just 7 minutes to go in the ball game, and that door is very quickly closing on the Bees' chances of getting back in. If you'll remember, start of the second half, they got it to 1 possession. Ever since then, it has been all Falcons.
And listen, Fulton's a really good basketball team. This is not the best game we've seen Upperman play this year. And they're struggling right now to just do the simple things. They're struggling to do the simple things. And the pressure has not been overwhelming right now out of Fulton. It hasn't been like Southside last year.
It's been unforced errors.
Yep.
It hasn't even really been. I mean, obviously the pressure has a little bit to do with that, but a lot of them have just been where they're jumping up and just throwing the ball ahead, just hoping that it finds somebody. They're not making good passes, and 20 turnovers, and maybe 10 of them are forced by Fulton. Maybe.
7:05 to go. It's going to be Upperman basketball. If they're going to have a run in them, they need it to start immediately. We know they can score in a hurry.
A minute ago.
Correct. But still just enough time of the 15-point game, but you're going to have to start hitting some threes, getting some and ones and some turnovers.
Well, you got to take care of the basketball.
Yeah, that's step number 1, not turn it over. As Cam Bush is going to inbound here from the baseline, gets it into Cobb. Cobb does send the pass ahead to Roberts. Roberts back to Cobb. Cobb got to go. Puts the dribble down. Does bring it across the timeline here to stop the 10-second count. Kimber steps up to him. Taj Kimber with a high-pressure defense. Cobb picked up the dribble early, and now he's running out of time. Finds Braden Roberts. Roberts looking over for Harris. It was tipped and stolen again. Fulton with the steal, and they'll bring it the other way. And now that's a bobble, and they're able to maintain possession. Now Tyler Lee, mid-range jumper up. No, rebound down. And now there's a tie-up and a jump with the arrow belonging to Upperman. Clayton Harris just got 2 hands on it for enough time.
I know this is the only game I've seen of Tyler Lee. I don't know how he's Mr. Basketball.
I don't either.
I have no idea how he's Mr. Basketball. And I'm not saying he's a bad player.
He's a good player.
He's probably haven't hit one of his worst games of the season, but
Kate Cap's a better player.
Yeah.
Every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Yep.
Chaffin sends it ahead. Bush back to Harris. Now finds Cobb. Cobb puts the dribble down. Now Cobb going to drive, flips it over right side for Harris. Clayton Harris, ball above the head. Now finds Cam Bush. Bush back to Harris. Chaffin posting up, reverse feed over to Cobb. Ty Cobb, 4-3, no good, way short. Rebound down, ricochets right to Roberts. Roberts goes up for 2, no. Rebound punched out by Harris, and it'll go the other way. Never mind, they awarded it to Upperman. So a break for the Bees. They get the ball with 6:03 to go. Evan Huddleston goes flying to the table. He's going to check in here. He's in for Braden Roberts.
They need a 3-ball to fall right now.
Yeah. What shooting from three-point land today for Upperman? 2 of 5. Team that usually hits good 7-8 threes a night.
Yeah.
Give credit to Fulton's defense, and then we've had some unforced errors as well for the Bees. Inbound goes to Chaffin. Chaffin reverses floor over right side. Bush now to Cobb. Cobb puts the dribble down. 5:55 to go in the ball game. Clock is ticking on Ty Cobb. I'm not sure if he realizes it. Goes to work, finds Huddleston. Now right side Chaffin. Chaffin finds Huddleston. Time running out. Huddleston. Don't have time for these long possessions. Now Cobb. Cobb knocked out of his hands out of play. It's going to stay with the Bees as it was poked by Taj Kimber. And Upperman right now almost feels like they're going through the motions, Jacob.
It does. I mean, there's not a whole lot of sense of urgency, and I think they're trying to get it into a good shot, but at this point, if you are open, you have to take it.
Inbound coming, and Cobb is going to be held away from the ball. Taj Kimber got 2 hands on the chest. He's contesting, but that was a foul without question. It's going to be a third-team foul against the Falcons.
They got it up there quickly.
Oh, they got it up there quickly. My apologies. It's going to be the second. They got it up there really quickly.
It was as soon as they called
Before they even went over there to signal the call. Usually they wait for that. At least here. Huddleston inbounds it to Cobb. And this is turning into a minute plus of scoreless basketball for Upperman on one possession. Cobb shrugs off Kimber. Steps back up. Cobb drives, throws up the runner with the right hand. No good. Rebound down. Lee was standing on the line, though, so another break for the Bees. They have it back, still trailing by 15, 5:24 to go.
Hey, credit to Fulton. I mean, they've been playing defense this whole time, and they've made it tough for Upperman to find a good shot.
There's a reason they're the defending champions at 33-2. Only losses against Central Magnet without a couple of starters, and against a really good Austin East team that was in the state tournament. Cobb is inbound. Ricochets around still, and it's going to come away to the Falcons, and a foul as Braden Roberts made the good play because it was going to be an easy transition, but Roberts picks up his second personal foul.
Yeah, he's also getting frustrated out there. The things just haven't been going their way so far in this game. He kind of swiped down on the basketball just because he couldn't quite get a handle on it. And for the Bees, you said it, the body language not quite there for him, and it's kind of continued here into the fourth quarter.
Turnbow went to the table trying to get him in on defense, but he got there too late. Inbounds pass comes in here to Kimber. Upperman showing the full court pressure. Kimber trying to work on Huddleston. Little stutter step. Now floats the pass left side to Lee. Lee back over to Kimber. This is Denaj Kimber with it, number 4. Taj is 20. Lee in the mid-range. Fires a nice feed across the paint. Good and one. And that's probably your dagger. Finished in by Nicholas Steen. He's got 8 points tonight. He's going to the line to try to complete the three-point play. And it is getting out of hand. A 17-point Fulton lead.
Yeah, I mean, Upperman just didn't bring the best stuff tonight. I mean, I know there's still 5 minutes to play, but the way they're playing right now, I don't see why they'd be getting back into this basketball game. They have that good stretch in the second quarter to start the second half. They cut it to a possession, and they have just gone completely away from that. Defensively, it's changed a little bit. Offensively, they have not found their rhythm whatsoever. They are 0 for 3 here in the fourth quarter. In the half, they are 2 for 8 from the field. They've only attempted 8 shots.
Free throw no good. Quickly ahead, Roberts had it poked from behind. Turnbow saves it in. Now finds Roberts in the mid-range. Flip pass out for Cobb. He triggers the 3. It's no good. Upperman cannot buy a bucket with $1 billion. Bronston Chaffin going to pick up a foul. As going up for the rebound was Lee, and he got his legs taken out from under him a little bit. That's the 4th on Chaffin. 4:50 to go in a 17-point game.
Yeah, I bumped him a little bit as Lee went up in the air, and
2 of 6 from three-point land. And Upperman's had some open looks from down there. They just haven't made them.
They've only taken 9 shots in the second half.
Good defense by Fulton.
Yeah. Kind of a combination of also the turnovers. They've had a lot of turnovers in this second half.
Denaj Kimber across the timeline here. He works it over left side into the corner. Grabbed by Smith. Smith with a baseline drive. Smith, easy lay-in. He missed it, though. Rebound down. Harris has it. Fires to Roberts. Here comes Upperman 3-on-2. Roberts behind the back dribble. Finds Chaffin driving. Bronston Chaffin contorts in midair and finishes for 2. First points of the quarter for Upperman. 4:22 to go. It's a 15-point game. And now a foul on Ty Cobb for a hold. Going to be his 3rd. He was trying to prevent Kimber from coming open. It's the 3rd team foul on the Bees.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to do right now. You got to be really aggressive defensively. You got a good bucket there. It was a nice job by Chaffin. He was trying to draw some of the contact, and it was still got the finish. He made sure to get the finish, but he did about everything he could to draw some of the contact. Just didn't quite get it.
We appreciate Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate for being the presenting sponsor of tonight's game. Denaj Kimber has it. He's trying to break past Evan Huddleston. Huddleston stays in front. Now Kimber gets into the half court. 4:10 to play. 38-23 the score. Kimber drives inside to the elbow. Left-handed runner, no. Rebound down. Turnbow comes away. And here comes Upperman. Chaffin ran the floor. Now Bronston Chaffin barrels in and a foul. This one's going to go on Denaj Kimber, his 4th. He's got to be really careful, man. They're by 15. You can't take a 10th. He's showing a ton of frustration. And this official likes to tee him up. Bronston Chaffin going to go to the Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate free throw line to shoot 2.
There's a lot of basketball on that. Well,
yeah,
that's why. But anytime you come down on the basketball, and it doesn't matter where the official is at. It doesn't matter if he's got a completely clear view. 9 times out of 10, they're going to call a foul on that. You just cannot come down on the basketball. If your hand stays straight up and you get the block, you have a better chance.
First one in for Chaffin. And now Cobb checking back in after a quick breather for Huddleston. Down to a 14-point game. Upperman on the peripheral, making it kind of interesting, but they got to continue to score. Chaffin throws up the second one, and he gets a super friendly roll. Rolled all the way around, bouncing up on these soft rims before falling through. Cam Bush in for Clayton Harris.
No, 13, stop, 3, make it 10. I mean, you're not completely out of the ball game. You just need a few bounces to go your way, and you need to get some stops.
Kimber trying to work on Turnbow. The trap arrives, and it's an errant pass, but Lee able to run it down. Tyler Lee goes up. It's blocked by Cobb, but he did connect with the body, and now Ty Cobb's got to be very careful. He's got 4 fouls. Tyler Lee to the line to shoot 2. And that should have been a steal for Upperman. An errant pass into no man's land, and nobody chased it down in white and gold.
I mean, nobody went for it. They had Cam Bush and Braden Roberts standing right in front of the basketball, and nobody went for the basketball. It was there for the taking. If Cam Bush takes it, they've got numbers going the other way, 3-on-2. Probably would have had an open chance at a bucket. Instead, it goes on the other end, and Cobb did everything he could to not let Lee get an open bucket.
He got his money's worth on the foul,
Yes,
but Lee,
he did.
a great free throw shooter, makes the first. And he's actually not the best free throw shooter on the team, 61% at the line this year. 3:48 to go.
Serviceable.
Just by the way, Cade Camps is a 95% free throw shooter. Just by the way.
29 points a game.
Yeah.
7 rebounds. 2 assists.
2,000 point score as a junior. Just, hey, by the way.
Not Mr. Basketball.
Ty Cobb. More points than Tyler Lee tonight. He goes 2 for 2 at the line there. Congratulations. 40-25, 3:48 to go in the ball game. Bush gets it into Turnbow. Turnbow fires ahead. Roberts. They were stripped away by Lee. There he goes. Euros through. Left-handed lay good, and this one's over. Tyler Lee for 2. Braden Roberts very frustrated. Thought he got fouled because he did. Timeout going to be called by Bobby McWilliams with 3:38 to go.
Yeah, he took a shoulder right to the face after they went for the steal, and he was a little bit upset with it. They do take a full timeout with 3:38 to go.
We'll take it with him. Back in 30 seconds, 3:38 to go in the ball game.
How many letters?
5 letters.
Just think about, what am I doing right now?
Smile. Smile?
Uh-huh.
This is so easy.
.338 to go in the ball game. It's Upperman basketball. They trail by 17, 42-25 against the reigning Class 3A state champion Fulton Falcons out of Knoxville. And it's tough to remember in a game like this, but this was not a team that expected to be here at the end of the season, playing in the second to last game. They expected to be here with this core, but probably starting next year or the year after with Ty Cobb and Bronston Chaffin kind of leading the way as a freshman and as a sophomore.
Yeah, of course you're going to lose Braden Roberts and Clayton Harris, and those are going to be 2 big losses into graduation. Cam Bush as well, but we've talked about the depth, and that's because they've got so many juniors and sophomores that are still making their way up, and you go even deeper down that bench, they've got more guys that'll keep coming up.
Another steal and an inbounds pass. This time it's Taj Kimber. Fires into Denaj, and Jack Torrance, 2 hands in the back. Easy call for the official, and it'll be a trip to the line as they've hit the bonus. 2 coming up here for Kimber.
There's already Fulton fans chirping at the Ridgeway guys making their way into the tunnel.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think Ridgeway wants any part of Fulton.
No.
They rolled over Creekwood.
They're going to make it fun, though.
They are.
I promise they'll make it fun.
They are. And a tremendous season for Upperman. Just the 3rd time in school history that they've been in the semifinal round of this postseason, as the free throw's no good here for Denaj Kimber. They ran into the reigning champions with a Mr. Basketball and a host of other weapons. They're well coached. That's the other thing about Fulton. They're very well coached.
Oh, absolutely.
Coach Jody Wright, one of the best in the state.
Well, we've talked about how many times they've made it here since 2008.
It's unbelievable.
Their record is 20-7 in the state tournament.
That's way more than most teams in their schools in their entire life.
Just since 2008.
And now another turnover as the pressure just working as Upperman starting to throw it away, possession back the other way. That's more than most boys and girls teams combined in school history for schools.
They've made the semifinals 9 times out of the last 17 years. They've only missed the state tournament 5 times since 2008. I mean, it has been pure domination just getting to the state tournament and then in the state tournament as well. Now, albeit they've only won 4 gold balls. I say only. It's still 4 gold balls.
Nice pass across as Steen finishes the 2, and this one is over. Another steal. This time Upperman just throwing it away. Mid-range jumper up, no good, meaning the basketball here in the final minutes. It goes out of play and it'll go back to Upperman.
And for the Bees, it's unfortunate, but this is their worst game they've played all season long. I mean, you even go back to those losses. They competed in those losses. Even that Stone Memorial loss in the first district loss of the season is a 1 or 2 point game at halftime and kind of got away from them in the second half, but they were at least competing in those games. And this one, they competed in the first half and especially in the second quarter, just haven't been able to get it going in the second half.
Cobb had it poked free, but it went to Chaffin, and then Bronston was fouled. It'll be the 4th team foul going against Fulton. Braden Roberts a bit slow to get up in the backcourt. Yeah, they'll be looking for Jack Torrance next year to take a step probably into that Braden Roberts role. Evan Huddleston going to take another step forward. Isaiah Holmes to become that Robin to Bronston Chapin's Finn Sissom as well, to your point, Bronston Chaffin. You'll have Isaiah Helms in there, so you're still going to have two bigs if you're Upperman next year. This is going to be a loaded team. They're going to be one of the favorites entering next year without question. And Ty Cobb entering his sophomore season. Everybody now knows the name, as we anticipated they would. Again, just the third time in school history they made the semifinal round of this postseason.
Well, and the thing with this Fulton team, you can always expect them maybe not to be back in this position, but at least expect them to compete. And also, their road to get here is not the hardest.
Another turnover for Upperman, this time in the half court. Comes out to Steen. Yeah, it's the yellow brick road for Fulton. And obviously, they're a tremendous basketball team. And
they've got a ton of seniors.
It allows them a margin for error when they lose some seniors to get back here because they built the tradition in. As Roberts going to trigger a deep three on the way, and good. Braden Roberts with a Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate three. He's hit a ton of those in his high school career. Adds one more here in the state tournament. Here's Fulton with a 17-point advantage and 2:35 to go.
7 seniors on this roster of 11 for Fulton.
Yeah,
so it'll be a different team next year.
Lee had it poked from behind. Upperman still playing hard out there, trying to force some turnovers. Kimber reverses floor over left side. Grabbed by Steen. Steen drives the lane, right-handed lane. No, Roberts disrupted it. Got the rebound. Braden Roberts finishing it out strong. Fires it over for Cobb for the alley-oop, and he puts it off the glass and good. And Upperman's within 15 on the 2 by Ty Cobb.
Now they're competing a little bit. Got down by 20 points, able to get 5 straight points here. And
that's where that little stretch where they turned the ball over 5 times in a row will be a little frustrating because this could be a single-digit game right now.
They turned it over 5 times in 1 minute and 41 seconds.
And now, a little stall ball as Fulton was just playing the offense, but now it's gotten at least tight enough to where you don't want to allow a slight opening. They're comfortably ahead, though, as Kimber sends over left side now into the low block. Lewis gives back. Lewis trying to work on Bush. He loses handle.
He bodied him.
The foul got called on Cam Bush. It's going to be his second. A trip to the lineup coming here to shoot 2 for Dexter Lewis.
Yeah, he kept kind of throwing his body into him, and finally on that second bump, he did get the foul call.
Stick around postgame where the Southwell Auto Clinic postgame show go through the scoring from the game. Have the Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing Player of the Game. Join us tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., 10:40 a.m., or about 10:45, I should say, because we have the delayed start. Tip-off won't be till 11:07 tomorrow. But at 10:45, we'll have a pregame show as Cookeville competes for the Class 4A state championship against Independence.
What about this run, though, by the seniors? And especially, you even go back to last season when they were juniors, not expected whatsoever to do well in the district tournament. They win the district tournament.
Absolutely.
End up falling in the region quarters, but then they make themselves back here and able to make a first state tournament since 2021 and back to the semifinals.
2 free throws upcoming here for Fulton. Yeah, exactly what Bobby McWilliams said. It's easy. And Ty Cobb is sensational. We know what Bronston Chaffin is as well, as the first free throw is good for Dexter Lewis. But if these seniors had not stayed engaged, if Clayton Harris and Braden Roberts and these seniors had not stayed locked in, there's no chance this team makes it here because they were competitive. Even in that year, remember, they got upset in the first round of the district tournament. Isaac Story hit the shot of his life in that district tournament 2 years ago. Then, of course, they won it last year before getting upset in the region. But they stayed competitive through a rebuild. Most teams don't do that. Most teams drop to 5 or 6 wins before coming back up. As they kick out here to Cam Bush. Bush reverses for Roberts. Roberts, 1:19 to go, looking into Chaffin. It's another turnover, this time intercepted by Lee. He sends it ahead to Denaj Kimber. Kimber drives, puts up the shot, good and one. Braden Roberts called for his 3rd personal. Denaj Kimber to the line, try to complete a 3-point play. And now Isaiah Helms is going to check in. Jack Torrance is as well. 1:12 to go in the ball game, 49-30.
I saw it from Ty Cobb on the last possession. He's going to come out here for probably the final time with 1:12 to go, so his freshman season is going to come to a close here in the semifinals, but he was really frustrated. And
he is so competitive.
That can only foreshadow into next season, just kind of the tear that you can expect him to go on after already going on a tear here in his freshman season.
They're in the Final Four of the state tournament. As the free throw is up, 3-point play completed there for Denaj Kimber. Tremendous year for this Upperman team. And they ran into the reigning champs tonight. Didn't have their A game. You can't pretend they did. They didn't. But still, they were here for a reason. They're a very good basketball team in this classification.
Yeah, and Fulton, credit to them as well. Absolutely. They weathered that run. They got it down to a possession, and Fulton kept hammering them on the other side. Defensively, they are really, really tough.
Roberts with a step-back 3. No good. Yeah, they played tremendous defense in this basketball game the whole way. The press started forcing more turnovers late, but it really was the half-court defense early on as they stretched the lead that was tremendous for this team under Coach Wright.
The Bees just couldn't find anything offensively. Again, I mentioned at one point they only had 9 shots here in the second half. They're still only up to 12 shots in the second half.
They work it over into the corner here. Fulton, as the benches are beginning to clear, but Tyler Lee is still in there. They're going to get Mr. Basketball his points. One thing was clear. Upperman did a good job against that young man tonight, as they will have a stoppage just for substitutions, and they're going to get Colton Johnson, a freshman, Collier Bush, a sophomore, into the game. They're also going to get Landon Hall into the game, and Braden Roberts. His swan song here as he goes off, and he'll get a big hug from his teammates down there.
Good show of sportsmanship from the Fulton guys as well. Kind of getting him stuff.
And Braden Roberts getting hugs from all his teammates here. Great young man. He took a huge jump this year. It went under the radar. He was a key part of a big three between Cobb, Chaffin, and him.
He was a sixth man a year ago.
Yeah,
he gets starter minutes this year.
He lost his starting job a year ago. If the inconsistencies is Collier Bush. This one's tipped up and intercepted. Fulton coming the other way. Dexter Molden puts it up with the right hand. No, and a foul will be called on Bush. And this one's getting even further out of hand. Probably about a 15-point gap is the way the game felt, but it's going to be in the 20s because of this late run here by Fulton.
Yeah, but back to Braden Roberts. I mean, the way he played this season, and I think a lot of it helped at the start of the season when they really only had 7-8 guys on the roster because 9 guys were on the football team still and into the start of December. So they played the first 4, 5, 6 games of the season without their football guys. Braden Roberts got starts. He had Huddleston not Huddleston getting starts, but he also had Jack Torrance getting starts out there, Isaiah Helms getting starts, and it just helped those guys as the season went on. And Braden Roberts, he was that go-to scorer as Ty Cobb was starting to get acclimated.
I misspoke earlier. Isaiah Helms is a senior, so he gets in here in the state the state tournament and is
Elijah
getting
Fitz
hugs.
checked in.
That's right, Elijah Fitz, one of the youngsters. I misspoke earlier. Helms is another one of those seniors. He's getting hugs from his teammates, and that will do it here. Your final score: Fulton 52, Upperman 30. The Fulton Falcons will compete for another state championship coming up tomorrow night against Ridgeway as Upperman season comes to an end tonight in the Murphy Center. We welcome you into the Southwell Auto Clinic post-game show. The Southwell Auto Clinic are your hometown auto doctors. And tonight, Jacob Benson, a mixture of events. A very good Fulton team, the reigning champs. Upperman didn't quite have their A game tonight. A lot of turnovers, and that led to a Fulton Falcons victory.
Yeah, anytime you're taking on the champs, anytime you're taking on the favorites, you got to bring your A game, and they didn't do so from the start. Had a great second quarter. Were able to cut it to a possession, just weren't able to keep that energy up throughout the second half. But still, nothing short of a great season for this Upperman Bees team this season. I mean, I don't know if they expected to be in this position maybe in the state semifinals, but now they have set that expectation, and they're going to be expected to come back here next year and maybe try to make it a little bit deeper.
30 victories, only 5 losses this season.
Not many teams do that.
A Final Four appearance here in Class 3A, falling to who I am very confident is going to become back-to-back state champions tomorrow night. Credit to Ridgeway, they made that championship game. They're going to give it their best crack. They're very athletic as well, but this Fulton team, they're playing really good basketball right now as they get the win here tonight. Scoring from the game for Upperman is as follows: Ty Cobb with 9 points, Bronson Chaffin had 9 as well, Braden Roberts with 7, Cam Bush with 2, and that's it. A reflection of how low scoring this was for Upperman tonight, only able to get 30 points against that Fulton defense.
There was a cool moment between Ty Cobb and Taj Kimber and Denaj Kimber as well, kind of giving their respects to each other, and as the Kimbers going to be playing for another championship game. And Ty Cobb, he's hoping to be playing in a championship game maybe in the next season or two and see if they can make it back here. But, for the Bees, they just could not get it going offensively. A team that averages about 55 points per game offensively, obviously only 30 tonight. But, again, I mentioned that Fulton defense. They're one of the best defenses in the state. They get after you in the full court. And that's the thing. They guard you 94 feet. They're good in the full court. They're really good in the half court. They just make it so tough. They take everything away, and you just cannot get anything going in the half court, and that's exactly what they did to the Bees here today.
And apologies, I missed Braden Roberts. He had a 3 in there. He had 10 points according to the official stat sheet. So Braden Roberts with 10 tonight. I said he had 7. He had 10 here in his senior finale. There's only one more day of high school basketball to go in the state of Tennessee. If you make it to this day, you're a pretty good basketball team. Upperman, a good basketball team, just not their night tonight at the Murphy Center. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow morning, 10:45 a.m. or approximately 10:45 a.m. pregame show as the Cookeville Cavaliers look to capture their first state championship in school history when they take on Independence in the Class 4A state championship game. That'll be audio broadcast live on the UCR Facebook page and YouTube channel And, of course, keep your eyes on UpperCumberlandReporter.com. Complete coverage of all our teams here at the Glass House. Gordonsville up now. Cookeville earlier up now. Goose working on the highlight video, cinematic highlights from Cookeville's win earlier today. You're not going to want to miss that one. It should be up at some point, if not tonight, very early on tomorrow morning as we work late into the night here in Murfreesboro. One more day to go. Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing Player of the Game in this one.
Denaj Kimber.
There you go.
19 points.
Yep, Denaj Kimber. Nelson Trophy and Screen Printing Player of the Game. This will be our final Upperman basketball broadcast of the year. We will be back with the Bees, of course, on the diamond. Sorry we weren't there tonight. We obviously were here in the state tournament. They fell against one of the top teams in the country.
Really good team.
Down there in Chattanooga. The Bees back in action tomorrow on the diamond. We will be back with them Monday when they travel to Stone Memorial to open up District 7 AAA play. So if you're an Upperman fan, make sure you join us for that coverage of baseball presented by our friends at Nick's Restaurant. And, of course, basketball one more time tomorrow. That game will be presented by Sonja Brown with American Way Real Estate. Your final score tonight, Fulton 52, Upperman 30. The Bee season comes to an end in the semifinal round of the postseason with a record of 30 victories and 5 losses. I'm Noah McKay for Jacob Benson to my right. Madison McKay producing things, and everybody here at UCR. Get some sleep. We got a big day tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.